Kartron, Experience Portals Across Time. By Patrick M.C. Cormick. This is a love story about twin elemental flames, Matthew and Nicole, separated long ago by polarized awareness, of a guardian species gone awry who forgot their way. Isn't this a fine mess? Here we are, going into Florida as its hurricane nemesis Matthew nears ever closer to exactly where we plan our events of ascension in Fort Lauderdale. Rows of FEMA houses traveling south in nascent readiness, witness to such natural might, portrays the telling possibility of disaster, mere coincidence, or a stately testament to the power of our events to come? Within my being rests the feeling it is impossible such things are just ominously timed chance. The very nature of the awakening, the codes of resurrection in-person event scheduled this Sunday where Hurricane Matthew makes landfall, decreed from on high by photonic angel radiant, shall awaken the very codec denied to humanity so long ago, which kept it in a perpetual mortality loop. It beckons freedom from the very incarnational cycle imprisoning it for millennia, artificially keeping it a slave race instead of a vessel for ascending souls. Florida being a sandbar of Atlantis, many of its resident souls are still refugees of this great civilization, except the ocean's been on the other side for the last 13,000 years. Many possess the same lessons inherited when their lands and people perished so long ago. Forward to this modern time and you have Atlantean issues, mostly a perpetual intellectual incarceration loop which must be shifted for their ascension to occur. The prisoners must be freed, lest their fate be sealed and a new earth beyond them any. Working with the Lemurian agenda since my 1987 walk-in experience in Hawaii, it has only been since 2016 that I inherited the Atlantean agenda. Dealing with spiritual matters of the heart mixed with a bit of intellectual discord of the primarily feminine Lemuria is completely reversed from the intellectual matters of the mind within a highly emotional discord of the primarily masculine Atlantis. As such, I had no idea how to break the mental matrix integral to the fortress of intellect inherent in the Atlantean coast of Florida. With my 300 lifetime equivalent evolutionary experience during my 20 years in Hawaii, Kartron and I developed many powerful processes to help people wishing to be freed from the 3D materialistic agenda of this version of Earth specializing in deceit. It also keeps people caught in their minds. Just how in the world do you get people to let down their mental constructs in Atlantis long enough to begin the ascension codes which could permanently free them from humanity's mortal enslavement? With Matthew looming on the horizon, the answer comes to meet us. The spiritual purpose and effect of a hurricane, tornado or other wind phenomena is to clear and restore proper electronic spin states. Those caught in their minds are in a clockwise spin, locking them into a primarily material consciousness and anchoring them into materiality, contrary to the natural counterclockwise spin state of the cosmos. A hurricane creates a counterclockwise spin which unanchors one from their current reality, making them much more available for ascending to higher states of consciousness. By respinning the consciousness of humankind, it prepares the soil of opportunity for seeds of consciousness to more easily take root and awaken higher states of awareness. I find few people realize how they can actually avoid such natural disaster adjustments from coming to their areas. The people of a land are inevitably the stewards of all life upon them in accordance with their covenant for the Creator. How they fulfill or fail that covenant determines the amount of adjustment the earth herself must do to make up for the lack of responsibility. When a society denies its true stewardship, its compass gone askew may lead it astray from that ultimate responsibility into self-absorbed objectification. If they choose to remember their true purpose of stewardship, open themselves to that possibility and are willing to make the necessary changes no matter how fundamental, that disaster becomes unnecessary because the people change instead. The disaster had its intended effect in the consciousness, and no longer requires physical manifestation. When a people remain unbending in their ways, the earth will do it for them. At this stage she isn't really in a talking mood, she's taking care of business. This is neither good nor evil but a necessary adjustment of a planetary body to compensate for the imbalance caused by one species becoming a parasitic endangerment to the ecosystem rather than staying in balance with it. It is natural planetary science. When looked at on a global map, you'll see Hurricane Matthew, and his supportive twin Hurricane Nicole he will rendezvous with after the show is traveling along the timeline between ancient Atlantis and modern-day Florida. This is a storm across time itself. The intellectual matrix modern mankind is caught into, prepares the way for Angel Radiant to bring in those codes of Genesis to begin the process of its ascension. This is not just for this now but all time as Matthew opens the portal into the whole last 13,000-year Yuga, giving Radiant and the hosts of heaven complete access to all civilization since the fall, including Atlantis before its demise. Will the online broadcast Saturday night and the in-person event Sunday occur on schedule or will it wait for another time? We'll see. Weather permitting, we can hold our Dominion angelic events which can change the fate of mankind in the afterpath. That's what happens when you play in the arena of the gods. One's fate is always in the making, but keep your schedule open. You never know what happens next. As Matthew completes his stint across time, Nicole waits to see if she shall join her power with his. We just heard Nicole has been upgraded from tropical storm to a hurricane. As she steps into her power, at long last the twins become as one. What shall befall their fate, and all those in their path? Will they return together to help the people of the land remember their true purpose, or will the people now know who they truly are, and why they are here? Patrick McCormick, creator of the Kartron experience. Transmitter for Kartron in Metatron. P.S. Thanks everyone for being so supportive and getting us down here. Rebecca's of Angels and Saints. Miracles of Healing 4-part broadcast is still scheduled to occur. We will let you know the updates as they happen.